Hey everyone, it's Wednesday, time for Wisdom Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. So this week I thought I would take a little time and maybe nerd out a little bit to talk about muscle as we are really beginning to understand more and more about the importance of muscle and maintenance of muscle as we age. And we've had quite a few folks in here recently, and I do some body composition work on many of my patients, and we're seeing some loss of muscle, particularly in people who are doing weight loss programs. We see muscle loss with all weight loss programs, but certainly a lot of discussion about the GLP-1s, the semaglutide as well as tirzepatide, and seeing muscle loss with weight loss, which there's always going to be a little bit, but the important thing is trying to make sure that we maintain muscle, and particularly as we age, because that is what many have called our metabolic currency, and the thing that really allows us to be more resilient with aging. We see that people that have more muscle, and I'm not talking bulky muscle, I'm just talking about muscle in general and maintenance of muscle, because we know we lose it. But those folks that have more muscle over time tend to fare better with aging and with the ravages of chronic illness, etc. So I thought I would maybe get a little nerdy and talk about muscle specifically and muscle tissue, and then a little bit about the different ways that you can actually grow muscle, because I know with most of my patients I say do more muscle work, and what does that really mean and how can that look? And it can look a number of ways, and I thought I'd just kind of walk us through that. And first of all, I just talk a little bit about muscles in general and how they grow. Muscles have fibers, and those fibers contract, and they utilize proteins to do that, and the fibers themselves are made of protein. So that's why eating enough protein is very important. And I know I mentioned not too long ago the fact that if you were laid up for 4 or 5 days without really getting up and moving much, you will lose a significant amount of muscle, and it's really challenging to get that back. So it's important to understand ways that you can actually benefit from different types of movement and utilizing either weights or bands to grow muscle. But just to return, muscles grow. These fibers are important, and they can grow in size and in numbers based on how much you work out and how you are setting up a program in which to grow or maintain muscles. It's important to have enough protein synthesis, so bringing enough protein in, and that protein synthesis is important for the actual molecules that are important for contraction, actin and myosin, and these are responsible proteins for the movement of muscles, the ability to contract our muscles. And then there's reserve cells around called satellite cells that come in and are activated after an intense workout or after muscle damage. And there's always a little bit of fibrin, that fibril muscles, that myofibrils that get broken down with strenuous exercise and with weight training. So we have these satellite cells that can come in and fuse in and repair these muscle fibers. It's important to understand that the energy source for most of the muscle is glycogen, and glycogen is stored within the muscle itself. And glycogen is just a way that we store glucose, and it is broken down when we need to have energy for exercise. But the other thing that's important is knowing that you don't want to overdo exercise and muscle work every single day, because the actual growth of muscle takes place at rest, not when there's a lot of exercise that then grows the muscle. It's that repair time and the rest time that actually grows muscle. So it's important to understand that. So when you want to start a training program, you want to focus first on multiple muscles, larger muscle groups. You don't need to just isolate muscles specifically, but do larger things like planks and you can do presses, bench presses, etc., squats, lunges, these types of things that require a lot of multiple muscles that are working all at the same time. And then you want to increase progressive loads over time. So if you've never really done much muscle work, it might be beneficial to have a trainer that can give you an upper body, a lower body, a core workout, and give you proper ways of doing these types of workouts so that you don't hurt yourself. If you don't know, certainly there are many YouTube videos out there that can help you design and get started with a program. And if you've never lifted weights, that's okay. You don't have to get huge weights. You can just, we'll talk in a minute about resistance bands. You can just order some resistance bands and utilize those. Those are for helping with just variable resistance and can help you grow muscle as well, or at least maintain muscle. So you may want to consider the aspect of your diet too when you are working on muscle, in that you definitely need to have more protein. Now, a lot of people who are in this space will really recommend high doses of protein on the order of a gram per pound. And that's kind of hard to do, especially for those of us that do a lot of intermittent fasting. But it is important. And if you are doing any of the weight loss programs and injectable weight loss medications, really prioritizing, prioritizing protein is quite vital, because we don't want you losing protein and we want you to continue to work out and continue to do muscle work so that you don't lose any of those things. And recognizing too, like I said earlier, that muscles actually grow when we are at rest and we have adequate sleep. So being mindful of that is really important. Now, if you are looking at ways to do this, certainly we know that weights can be beneficial, but also if you travel a lot, or if you don't really have a place in your home to have a lot of equipment, you can utilize bands, resistance bands, and you want to choose the right bands, and they are colored, coordinated, so that you have the ability to understand how much resistance per band. Just to give you an idea, they come with yellow, green, red, blue, black, and purple. And the lightest resistance are the yellow, and working all the way down to the purple, which are very heavy resistance bands. And you want to do adequate work progressively. So start with light bands first. Find some videos or find a trainer who can help you with how to choose the right bands and get started. And then continue with full body workout routines. And you can use these bands either across your shoulders or across your arms, across your legs, and stretch. And you'll find that there's a lot of resistance. I put them across my ankles and do leg lifts, front and back and to the side, and I'll walk with those. You can do workout with holding a band and doing biceps, whether you're lifting from this direction, you can put your hand up or down, you can go out. So these resistance bands can really work muscle all around your body, but just understanding that you need to do this in a controlled way that you will not injure or harm yourself. And obviously you can vary grips and vary the resistance. So this is what helps you build muscle over time. So I hope that this gives you an idea, and certainly you can start with 3 to 5 pound weights and doing upper body, lower body with these weights. You can use kettlebells and different ways of utilizing that to do full body challenges there. So lots of different ways that you can begin to get a program going. But it's really important to understand that protein intake and muscle work are vital for overall health and longevity. Hope this gives you a little bit of a beginning. If you need more information, I would encourage you to explore different avenues, whether you have access to a trainer, whether you want to look into utilizing videos. I think any of these things can be quite helpful, but recognizing just the importance of it. And we know that for longevity, we have to work on diet, nutrition, and supplements, but exercise is also a major pillar of overall health and wellness. You all have a great week, and we'll talk again next week.